Good morning friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about user-defined modules and how to import them. All these concepts I will discuss in detail for you. In the last video, I have discussed about filter, map and reduce. In that video, I have used an inbuilt module called functool and then I have imported one function called reduce. How I did it? I have used a statement called from functools import reduce. So if I want to use the reduce function in my program, I have imported the module called functools. Is it clear? Now this is an inbuilt module. Now what I want to do in this program is I want to define an user defined modules and then I want to import them so that you will understand how to write a large program. That large program you can split into small programs so that it will be very easy for you to debug and maintenance. Now let me discuss about the user defined modules in detail for you. Now let's take that I want to write a program where the user will enter two variables and then I want to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication and division according to that whatever the user is calling that one. Now look at here, that entire program I can write in a single Python file. Am I right? I can create a new file name called Parnika tutorials.py. The py is an extension of a Python program. Then I will write the entire program. Already we have discussed how to do it. That is very simple. Now what I want to do is that I want to create two Python files. In one Python file I want to write all the user defined functions. Now in the second Python file I will import the first one and then I want to I want to use the functions whatever I have written. So that is the meaning of you are writing in user defined modules and you are importing them. Now look at here what will happen. I will create a Parnika dot py is the file name. In that file name I want to define all the user defined functions. Suppose let's take that I want to define a function called add. Then how I will write? Def add and it will take two parameters a comma b and then what it will return? It will return a plus b. Is it clear? Similarly, I want to define another function called sub. Okay, and again it will take two parameters a comma b or the arguments and it will compute the difference between a comma b and it will return. So I am writing a single statement return a minus b. Similarly, I will define another user defined function called mul and it will also take two arguments a comma b. Okay, I want to compute the a into b and I want to return. This is fine. Similarly, I want to define another user defined function called div division. It will take two parameters a comma b and it will return an integer division. So integer division how you will do? A by b like this. So this will return an integer division. So this is a one Python program you have written .parnika.py. In that function means in that program you have written all the user defined functions called add, sub, multiplication and division. Now what I will do? I will create another file called tutorials. Let me call it as tutorials.py. Now in this one I will ask the user to enter the two numbers. So first what I will do? I will write some a is equal to input enter a number. So it is nothing but you are reading a number from the user and you know that about the input function. The input function will return everything in the form of string but you want to convert into integer. So you will do the typecasting by giving an int. Similarly, if you want to read another variable, the same you will do int input enter another number. Okay. Now what you want to do here is that you want to call the add function. Suppose let's take that you want to write sum is equal to add a comma b, and then you want to print the sum. Now look at here, if you are just writing the program like this, what will happen? Look at the tutorials.py. In this one, you are calling a function called add. But have you defined the function called add? Add is not a inbuilt function, it is a user-defined function. So if it is a user-defined function, before calling the function, you need to define the function. But that function definition is written in another program. So what you need to do, in tutorials.py, you need to import the user-defined function called add. Similarly, if you want to perform the subtraction, you have to import the sub. So what you can do is that you can do in two ways. In tutorials.py, what you can do is that you can import, okay, you can write a statement called import Parnika. Okay, import Parnika. Then you can write it as Parnika.add. You can write like this. Okay, you can write Parnika.add, and then you can give the arguments a comma b. This is what work. So what it will happen is that if user has entered a value as 5, b value is 6, then 5 comma 6, then it will go to the in the Parnika 1 module, and it will compute the a plus b, and then you will finally get the sum, and that sum you are displaying. This is absolutely fine. Similarly, if you want to use the subtract function, you will write Parnika.sub. If you want to use multiplication function, similarly you will write Parnika.mul. Like that you will write. But this will be a little bit confusing. Every time you need to write Parnika.add, Parnika.sub, Parnika.mul, all these things. Instead of that one, what I want to do is that I want to write same way as how we write the add function. So in that case, what I will do is that from the module name is Parnika. So from Parnika, import what are the functions you want to import. You can write add, you can write sub, or instead of importing each function, you can write star. So whatever is there in the Parnika, all will be imported. Is it clear? So from Parnika module, you are importing all the functions. In this case, how you can modify this program is, you can simply write add. Okay, you can simply write add a comma b. So once you call the function add, the control will go here and it will perform all the statements which are there in the function. So a plus b, that a plus b value will be stored in the variable called sum, and you are displaying the sum value. I hope it is very clear for you. For better understanding, I will execute this entire program in the Jupyter notebook.
Now, first let me define a function. Okay, I will write def to define a function, and the name of the function is sum, and it takes two arguments or parameters, which is a comma b. Now here I will provide the implementation as the sum is comma a plus b. Now what I can call this as function definition. Okay, if you just define a function without calling that function, if you are running this program, let me write something so that you will get some output here. Function definition, but this function definition statement is not there in the function called sum. It is just outside the function. If I run the program, then this function definition called sum will not be implemented. Only you are getting an output called function definition. So you are not getting the sum is whatever you want to display, that is not being displayed. So what is the point here I want to highlight is, if you are just defining a function without calling it, it will not execute. But now let's take that here I'm giving a statement called sum 10 comma 20. Now you know this is what function calling. Okay, this is function calling, and you are passing two values 10 comma 20. The 10 and 20 will be stored in the variable a and variable b respectively. Then you are computing the sum is a plus b, which is 10 plus 20 30. So this program will give you output as the sum is 30. Yes. So if you're defining the function and if you're calling, then only the statements which are there in the function definition will be executed. Now what I want to do is that let me create a text file. Let me save this one as what pt.py. I'm writing in shortcut as pt, which is Parnika tutorials.py, because it is a Python file. Let me save it now. Now let me zoom little bit. In this file, I will define the function called sum, and I will take two arguments a comma b, and now I will write a statement called return a plus b. Okay, now the function definition is there in one file. Now let me delete this entire one. Now I'm calling this sum function from another program. Now look at here. This is what kind of file? It is untitled 357. So you are in another file. So the function calling is happening in one file. This is what function calling, and function definition is there in another file called pt.py. Let me save this one and close it. Now if I run the program, you are thinking that you are getting the output as the sum is 30. No, this is the issue with the Jupyter notebook. Let me reset the kernel. Okay, restart it. Okay, now let me run the program. Okay, what will happen? You can see you are getting an error. What kind of error you are getting? You are getting an error called type error. Type error is what? Int object is not iterable. So what it is thinking? This is thinking that it is not a function calling. Even we are writing a function calling, but however there is no function definition called sum. So that's why the program is giving an error for you. So what is the meaning? If you have written a function definition in another program, function calling in another one, then it will not identify where is the function definition, and it will give an error for you. Okay, to overcome that one, what I will do, I will use the user defined module. So let me open the pt.py file and let me define few more functions. Let me write def sum, and similarly I will define another function called mul a comma b. Okay, it will return a into b. Similarly I will define the div method, or not method, it should be a function. Okay, because we are not using here oops concepts. If you are using the oops concept, that is absolutely fine. Now let me save this one, close this one and open this one. And now what I will do here, if I write sum 10 comma 20, still the error will come. Am I right? So now what I need to do, I need to import the module. What module I need to import? I need to import the pt. Okay, if I write import pt, then if I write pt dot sum, and I need to display that one, let me write here result is equal to, because it is returning, so that return value I need to store somewhere, and now I need to display the result. So the sum is I will write result. Now let me run the program. See, now in this case you are getting the output as the sum is 30. So what is happening? It is going to the module called pt. In that pt.py file, it is a Python file, there is a function definition called sum. Okay, this is function definition. When you are calling that function called sum 10 comma 20, then function definition will be executed and a will get the value 10, b will get the value 20. Then you are returning what? A plus b. A plus b means how much? 10 plus 20, which will be 30. That 30 you are returning, that 30 is storing in the variable called result, and that result you are displaying. Okay, let me save this one. Now instead of what I called sum, I will call the mul function. Okay, then what will happen? You should get the output as 200. Let me run the program. The sum is 200. Now here what you need to do, the result is, let me write simply, the result is. Now let me run the program. See, you are getting the result is 200. Similarly, what I need to do, I need to call the div function and let me run the program. What will be happening? the A value is 10 and B value is 20. So 10 by 20, then you can see what is the coefficient. The coefficient will be 0. So it will give the output as result is 0. But here you may have one issue. Sir, I am calling the dYV function. Am I right? But why I need to add this pt, all this one? If you want to eliminate that one, you can import the user defined module like this from pt import star. In this case, what you need to do, you can avoid this pt.dyv. Simply you can write dyv. Now let me run the program. See, in this case, you are getting the output as a result is 0. Similarly, if I just call the sum function, then the output will be given. The result is 30. Now look at here, the result is 30. Similarly, if I write mul, okay, now let me run the program, you are getting the result is 200. I hope it is clear for you how to work with the user defined modules. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.